The statue of King Zoser. Zoser was considered the founder of the Third Dynasty and the Old Kingdom. He was the legitimate son of King Har-Shamwai and Queen Madegt H3b. We are not sure of the exact duration of Zoser's reign. Some said that he reigned for 19 years. His hour's name was Netry HT or Iri Het Netry, which means he who belongs to the divine body. But for the name Zoser, which he is very famous for nowadays, there are two theories. 1. The name Zoser didn't exist during his lifetime, and the only name that existed, the name Zoser, appeared during the Middle Kingdom. 12th were Ntry HT and Dynasty. 2. The name Zoser was given to him during his lifetime, but was rarely used. And the most famous name that was used was Netry Heicht or Iri Het Netry, and the name Zoser began to be used during the Old Kingdom. Zoser built for himself two tombs, a mastaba at Beit Khalaf and a funerary complex at Saqqara, which includes his step pyramid. The importance of the stone funerary complex at Saqqara is due to two reasons. One, the step pyramid is considered to be the first true standing pyramid built of stone. And that's why they attributed to Imhotep, who was responsible for that building, the title of the inventor of the art of building in stone. 2. The architectural elements inside this complex were connected with the HBSD, which gives us a lot of information about this festival. Also, these architectural elements didn't appear after or before this period. The statue, it is made out of limestone known in hieroglyphics as INRHD, meaning the white stone. Limestone was quarried from Chura, El Masara and Mokattam hills. This kind of stone has many advantages. First of all, it is a soft stone, very easy to be quarried and shaped, not difficult as granite or alabaster. Secondly, it gets harder when it is exposed to air as it reacts chemically with the air. The statue was covered with plaster and then painted. Now only remains of colliers are shown here. It was found by the Egyptian Antiquities Service in 1924 to 1925 inside a serdab situated in his funerary complex at Saqqara, located to the northern side of his pyramid and attached to the lowest step of the step pyramid, inclining at an angle of 16 degrees Celsius. The statue is considered to be a very important statue, as it is believed that it is the first life-size statue discovered in ancient Egypt. The serdab is building free from any openings, except for two holes found in front of the eyes of the statue that was facing the northern direction, and there are different opinions concerning these two holes. 1, to enable him to look out and enjoy the ceremonies celebrated in the funerary temple. 2, to enable him to recognize his visitor. 3, to allow him to see the other world. 4, to enable him to smell the incense. 5, to allow them to see the circumpolar star or the northern star. This is considered as the seed of eternal of the kings in the afterworld. This star is known life hieroglyphic as SPDT. The statue in the Egyptian Museum is the real one, while the other one found inside the serdab is a replica. The king here is represented in life-size statue seated on the throne with all signs of royalty. He is represented wearing a thick, straight hair wig surmounted by the NMS headdress. It is unusual representation to have both the hair wig and the headdress. The ears are exposed to enable him to hear all the religious hymns, or in order to give the ear the chance to appear. NB. An opinion says that the first opinion, which is hearing the religious hymns, is a wrong opinion, which was said at the beginning when they mistakenly thought that this was the cast statue of the king. The facial features of the statue are very rigid, showing no emotions because this was not a normal human being, but he was considered as demigod. His eyes were most probably inlaid, but unfortunately this inlayment doesn't rob us, or because they exist anymore, maybe because they were stolen by tomb, have just fallen down. Here we can notice that the eyes have a very far away look, as if they were looking to the horizon or to the sky, and of course this was due to the fact that the king during that time was semi-divine. A slight moustache attached above the upper lip and traces of colliers can be seen on the slightly damaged face. This moustache is considered an unusual representation for the king. The nose is broken. The king is represented here with the false royal beard, which is halfly broken and which originally reached his belly. The sculpture here wanted to support the negative part of the body, which is the neck. He was able to do that by attaching the neck to the false royal beard and thickening it by the hair wig and the Nem's headdress. The king is represented a religious attitude wearing a jubilee garment known as Hib Sed garment and putting his right hand over his heart. The garment is not covering the shoulders completely. A part of the shoulders garment envelopes the whole body, leaving just the hand and small parts of the legs free, i.e. showing no details of the body. The sculpture was very skillful enough in representing the details of the body in an idealized canon of proportion, since this was not an ordinary human being, so everything should be measured and expressed in ideal form. The king in this statue is shown placing his right hand on his chest as religious ritual because he is following the command of his heart. We can notice that his fist is clinching on something. Two opinions explains this thing. One, it represents a seal, so as the king could sign his name wherever he goes. Two, it can be a handkerchief or a piece of cloth. The left hand of the statue is placed on his lap as sign of mercy and kindness. So, the statue is combining between two significations. One, sign of power represented by clenched fist. Two, sign of mercy symbolized by flat hand placed above the lap. The king is represented barefoot as he is represented in religious attitude, most probably doing a religious ritual, which is the Hebsid festival. On the base of the statue there are some hieroglyphic inscriptions giving his name and titles. Niswau Baiti, the king of Upper and Lower Egypt. The bee was the symbol of Lower Egypt. The sedge plant was the sign of Upper Egypt. Nebti, the king that had assumed the Nebti title. This name explained the relation between the king and two ladies Nekbet and Wadjet. Nekbet, vulture, was the goddess of Upper Egypt, and Cobra, Wadjet, the goddess of Lower Egypt. Buto nowadays Tel El Farayin, while Nekbet goddess of Hyrcanopolis. Netarekt, the one who belongs to the divine body. Ra-Neb. We are not sure about the meaning of this title. Nebu means gold and Ra means the sun god, so it relates to the worship of god Ra. But this title had nothing to do with the Solder Hours name. We have an opinion saying that the sign NBW is related to the word Ra-Web, which is the place of god Seth.